Hello, everyone. Welcome to the two-week storm outlook for the United States. This covers the period through March 30th, 2016. Here is a retrospective satellite look at early morning on the 16th, Wednesday. As you can tell, there are significant thunderstorms lined up from northern Wisconsin across portions of western and central Michigan and on into northwestern Ohio. And also, it looks like another little cluster of storms trying to form over south central Wisconsin. This will be part of the scenario set up for a relatively active severe weather day, especially for mid-March over the Great Lakes region, which we'll look into as we look at the severe weather outlook. Some of the boundaries that we'll set up are already defined on the infrared imagery. If you look at the boundary that's set up over northwest Iowa back into southeast Iowa, and another uh, cold front that's defined by that narrow band of clouds from the St. Louis area into northwest Arkansas, you can see some of those areas that might uh, reactivate tomorrow afternoon uh, with some decent heating and substantial forcing at the mid levels. The convective outlook from the Storm Prediction Center for the 16th of March shows an area of slight risk covering the northern half of Illinois and portions of northwest Indiana and southwest Michigan, with a very small risk of enhanced, or I should say an enhanced risk, a very small area covering portions of northern Illinois. Again, that boundary setting up over Iowa ought to be the impetus for initial redevelopment of thunderstorms as we move into the afternoon hours tomorrow. And all severe weather potential exists, including tornadoes, damaging winds, and hail. Let's look at the tornado risk specifically. Uh, the main tornado risk is over Illinois, especially over that enhanced area over north central Illinois from around Moline, not too far from the Chicago area, maybe 50, 60 miles southwest of Kankakee. And then let's move toward the wind. The wind area is relatively expansive from Detroit back west into the extreme east central parts of Missouri. And the hail potential is relatively significant. In fact, probably the most significant feature, covering a good part of northern and central Illinois and on into portions of western and southwestern uh, Michigan and northwestern portions of Indiana. Let's look at the GFS model as we move through the week. We'll use this as our primary model. The European model, we will take one peek at a slide for this weekend because it is relatively significant. As we look at this model, we're looking at the period around uh, let's move up forward a little bit here. This would be around noon on Wednesday. We don't see those thunderstorms quite yet developing, but they will form as we move during the day on Wednesday into portions of, as you can see, the low in those thunderstorms to the east of the cold front, forming early Wednesday and continuing into Wednesday afternoon. The cold low over Michigan will also create some instability, especially in the southern part of that cold low where a short wave trough will probably move in the 700 millibar area across that region. Let's go ahead and move the maps along here. We see some precipitation over the Gulf Coast as we move into the day on Friday, and some rain over parts of the Northeast into New England, maybe a little bit of snowfall. This would be Friday at around noon, a little bit of snowfall over portions of New York State on up through the rest of New England, especially behind the cold front, which you kind of can make out by the kink in the isobars that extend from southern Connecticut back west into portions of uh, the Pennsylvania area. Even though the 540 line is to our south, the increasing radiation is likely, increasing solar radiation is likely to uh, produce a warmer uh, air mass to the north of the 540 line by about 100 or 200 miles. So we're not expecting anything but rain showers across the big cities, Philadelphia, New York, maybe a little mixed precipitation in Boston. And again, this would be around noon on Friday. However, let's look into the weekend. There is a very interesting storm that comes very close to the United States. You can see it off the coast of Virginia. This would be noon on Sunday, and then by midnight on Monday, that storm is all the way up in Connecticut. This is the way the GFS wants to handle this. I will show you in a minute how the European model is stacking up with this storm. Much more aggressive in terms of a potential snowstorm for the East Coast. Let's continue to watch these maps in motion, and we see another storm form over the central part of Nebraska, probably a severe weather maker as we move into the midday on Wednesday, with a chance for severe thunderstorms once it taps the Gulf of Mexico, uh, probably late Wednesday or early Thursday, in a line from portions of Arkansas north into southern Illinois and southern Indiana, and just a soaking rain everywhere else across the Great Lakes on into portions of the Northeast. And then let's go ahead and move the GFS along further. Again, we see the 540 line dipping down further as we move toward the 26th of March, getting close to April. And we see some cold air moving in, possibly some snow showers across portions of the Great Lakes and on into New England. And then as we move a little bit further on, we see a pretty significant area of rain. Let's go back to that. A pretty significant area of rain on Sunday the 27th at around noon. To the north of the 540 line, there may be some snow over northern Michigan. And if you look further to the west, it looks like rain showers, and in higher elevations, some snow showers over the mountains of Idaho and Wyoming. Uh, the Pacific Northwest and the Rocky Mountain area becomes much more active as we move to the 29th day of March. We see an area of snow over the interior sections of the Rockies, especially over portions of the Sierra Nevadas, and also over parts of the Wyoming and eastern Idaho mountains. And significant rainfall with a little bit of snowfall over parts of the Midwest through Michigan. Having a little bit of trouble tapping the Gulf of Mexico until we get into Wednesday the 30th, and then a relatively strong area of thunderstorms likely to develop over parts of Arkansas back down into Louisiana, and that may carry north as this cold front begins to advance onto the southeast, and certainly a lot of heavy rain over portions of Arkansas and Mississippi. That may be the biggest threat that we'll see. As promised, we will take a quick look at the European model, specifically to look at this storm that is forecast to develop off the East Coast over the weekend. This would be the weekend of uh, Saturday the 19th, Sunday the 20th. On Sunday morning, the 20th, you can see it on the European model quite nicely wrapped up already close to 1,000 millibar low over the eastern portions of South Carolina, off the eastern South Carolina shore, and it really does hug the coast. It moves right along the coast up to Virginia by the time we reach Sunday evening, and the 540 line is crosses New Jersey over the northern third of New Jersey is to the north of the 540 line, and New York City is really right on the 540 line. It kind of cuts right through the city, just pretty much through Harlem, and then on to the northeast through northwest Queens. So any area to the north of there likely to see some mixed precipitation, if not all snow. And then as we move into the day on the around Monday morning at 8 a.m., we see the cold air really wrapped into the storm with significant snowfall over parts of New Jersey and as well as Massachusetts, southeastern New York State, on in through much of New England. We could see a relatively big snowmaker, especially inland over parts of New England, where we could see somewhere between 6 and 12 inches of snow, maybe even higher amounts if this really wraps up. Very big difference, though, between this and the GFS. The GFS doesn't even touch us with any precipitation at all. Let's quickly take this and move it along further and see if there's any other interesting or unique developments. We're already in this scenario where there's another disturbance that looks like it is a combination of a weather disturbance that starts in the southeast and one that merges from the northwest with a nice cold front defined. This is Saturday the 28th at 8 a.m. and we see that moves on quickly. Another big storm with some snowfall over the northern Midwest and parts of the Rockies as we move into the day on Sunday. And then as we look at the rest of this period, this would be Monday the 28th, we see significant precipitation over the Gulf states, likely a severe weather outbreak there, and that extends north into into much of the East Coast as we move into the day on Monday. Then some colder air moves in, and the rest of the country looks pretty dry as we move into the second to last day of the month of March. That's the latest. I am John Travers with your 14-day storm outlook.